this property was graded. I believe they wanted to put a golf course down on the flat.
Yeah.
They also thought of making it a runway for airplanes. Went a lot of different ways. But all this was graded. The best trees were saved. They were all identified. Mr. Cooper and I were just discussing the fact that there's copper pipe irrigation all underneath this property. Where we turn it on and where we turn it off, we're not quite sure. But it's there.
How many acres altogether for the property currently?
Well, it's, I believe, 220, I believe. That includes the property across the street, so it's about 200. That's 13 acres, so it's about 212.
Originally it was 30 acres, and then at any time there was a piece of property adjacent to this, my husband says, Mom, you buy it. So that's how it, little by little, it was even, then the 80 acres came in. That
was later. I think that one of the first ones was a strip over here on this side.
Yeah.
And then it was a strip over there. Yeah. And then the 80 acres, I think, was one of the last ones. Then the farmhouse came, the dairy farm next door, that came available, so they bought that. And then the 80 acres.
Well, that was his motive. Buy as much property as you can buy. It's adjacent to this, not over there. Or what? Or however, there's a little piece across the road there.
Yeah.
But I don't know why how that happened, but it did.
One of the biggest features is the beautiful old grandfather oaks on this property.
Yeah.
And,
yes, that we have.
There were also in the early days in the 80 acres a lot of black walnut. We had a lot of black walnut trees on this property. There was a big one right over. That was right over there. There are still a few, but from my understanding, and there were a lot of them in the 80 acres, but during World War II, they needed the black walnut for gun stocks, for rifles.
Oh, that's right.
So they
forgot about that.
They came in and and took the wood. Our big vegetable garden was down, you know, where the apple trees are. It's just adjacent to the lake. The grape arbor is still there.
Yeah.
And we have one of the two little pear trees that, Bartlett pears, the old winter pears are there. And we had, at one time, 10 or 12 good apple trees. Then sometime in the 60s, somebody gave you a whole bunch of apple trees. We planted more, and none of them were ever any good. They were golden, they were red delicious and a bunch of other things, and the bugs loved them terribly. And we rarely got to eat any of them. The trees are still there.
Yeah.
The dahlia plat that that Dad loved so much was down
there. Yeah.
Down over there.
On the plat. Yeah.
Yeah. Down
by
down
the creek.
Here. Yeah. There was dahlias were his favorite flower. You never grew roses here, did you? No, you never grew roses here. There's a few clematis still hanging in there and struggling to come up.
Yeah.
The daylilies and the plantain lilies that we have all around here. Lilies of the valley, everywhere. You know, in the summer we'd get out and Mom would get the shovel out and we'd take some from here and divide them and plant them all along the walkways and everything.
We're gardeners at heart, you know.
Yeah. We have big parties here. Big parties. Big parties. You know, sometimes 50, 75, 100 people of all the biggest movers and shakers from Chicago. I remember Dad was friends with W. Clement Stone. I mean, he was just a little sawed-off guy with a funny mustache. A lot of very well-known industrials from Chicago.
They all used to like to come out here to Gray Willows.
Well, the booze was free, pretty much, and they always knew they'd get a good steak.
When Dad would get on the phone and start inviting people, we'd never know how many.
That's right.
You know,
he did so much. You know, he was on the phone constantly. Dad's big joke was that he would wear out 10 bathrobes to one business suit, because generally he'd be on the phone and it'd be 4 in the afternoon and he'd still be in his bathrobe, you know, because he'd be working the phone.
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah, that's for
But then
sure.
he used to like to get out and exercise.
Yes, he did his exercises every day. He'd get
Yeah.
out and do this little routine.
Yeah.
I remember we had, for some bizarre reason, we had a peacock.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the nastiest damn peacock
yeah.
in the world. We kept trying to get him a mate, and he kept killing him.
Yeah.
But
That's right. Well, the way where we had the dog pen.
That was the peacock pen.
Yeah.
So the peacock used to march around. We'd let him out, and
Yeah. Oh, we
he
thought
used
this was it.
He used to follow Dad around
Yeah.
doing the exercises. So I think he was a strange peacock. He cared very much for my father. One day, Dad turned around very quickly and startled the bird, and the bird put those talons and clamped into Dad. That was the end of the peacock. Not sure what happened to him. Better not to ask. Remember the chickens?
The Rhode Island Reds?
No, the chickens in the chicken coop. Remember the year you decided we were going to have milk-fed chickens? So, and then we also had the Black Angus cows too, and occasionally one would wind up in the freezer downstairs, and we'd have to lie to my father because he said, "I can't eat something I've looked square in the eye." So we'd lie and say came from someplace else. But they ordered all these special chickens, and they built they built the battery. We had the battery, and we got the special suet feed. And came the time, and the chickens would go to the happy hunting ground, and we got them. Oh, we were all excited. We got them back. They're frozen, you know, all packaged up. Took them out. Those were the toughest damn chickens in the world. We couldn't even stew the things. So we were convinced that that they had seen how beautiful our chickens were and had switched them with the old tough ones. That's the explanation.
That's our
That was
farming experience.
That was our farming experience, yeah.